Okay, morning, folks. According to my watch, it's 11 o'clock, which will be the watch we'll use for timing our start later. So if anything goes wrong and they say we took off 30 seconds or a minute too early, they can blame me and me alone. I'm missing my sidekick today, young Jordan. So what we've got today is the Colin and Colin show for the briefing, Met and the airspace. Right. Moving forward, welcome to briefing on Thursday, the 2nd of June, start of the long bank holiday weekend. That's again a note from our sponsors and a thanks from our sponsors: Vertigo Covers, Vertigo Aviation Detailing, Applegarth, and G-Dale Soaring Engine. Tonight in the restaurant, it's Hog Roast. Sounds nice. I'm sure just like yesterday at about 6 o'clock, it'll smell quite nice as well. So the results from yesterday, we got a reasonable number round. I think we had a good day, more than I expected in the morning when we initially looked at the Met. Did actually work out. So in third place in the red class, Alistair Nunn with 94.74 kph, and it's joint third with Martin Clark, who was 0.01 kph faster, so well done to you two guys. Second place was Kim Tipple at 97.29 kph, and first was Liz Sparrow at 99.07, nearly 100 kph. So close. As normal, folks, come and get your bottles of wine from control and enjoy your prizes. Blue class, day 3, Jack Tonkin in third place. And Jack gave us some entertainment when he had to take a climb only a couple of K from the finish ring. That was all a good one. Howard Jones second, and Harriet Gamble in first place. So fantastic. We had the girls won both classes yesterday. Well done. Special prize to Martin Oliver, who, courageous effort, landed at 1940, just short of the finishing ring. Well done, Martin. And again, come and get a bottle of wine, all of you, from control. So the weather, and this is where I swap screens, and I'm doing the weather today, folks. So overview of what's happening with the weather. Very similar briefing to anybody that's seen the club flying briefing this morning. Not a lot has changed in our outlook of what we think is going to happen. You've got a frontal system tracking south west to northeast in France. We're dragging in light east southeasterly winds at the moment, but there is an element of upper cloud associated with these fronts here that just currently is showing its face over the Channel and the south coast. Pressure's a little bit higher than yesterday, stabilizing things down a little bit. No risk of showers today, nothing to warn there. In terms of quick look at the TAFs, Farnborough saying scattered at 4.5, Gatwick few at 4.5, and Heathrow I think were the same, few at 4.5, and most places are showing that. Further north, it's sort of more cloud, I think, and a slightly lower cloud base north of Oxford by the looks of it. The upper winds in the Channel, I think fresh 10-15 knots, maybe 20 down south towards the French coast. Centre of our country, 10 knots, 160, so 150, 160, light southeasterly flow, really quite steady. That's obviously going to give us the issue later on, I think, with sea air incursion. Looking at the sat pic, we can see the influence of this cloud here. The latest sat pic shows cumulus all along the south coast and some popping up around the danger area, but we're really watching the upper stuff to give us an idea of what's happening, because that will be part of the factor in our weather today. Temperature wise, 19 degrees I think max. We're looking at over a reasonable area to the south. Certainly north of Oxford, it's a little bit cooler. The BBC were suggesting the same. And dew points, well, they're already going down fairly quickly. So I think we can knock a couple of degrees off this. This is the dew points for 12, 1 o'clock. So you can dew points down to about 5 and 6s. So pretty good temperature dew point split, I think, by the afternoon, certainly around here. And looking at the soundings, both locally and further north, 12 o'clock suggesting, 12, 1 o'clock suggesting 17, 18 degrees. Cumulus, I would have thought, probably 3,500 foot base above Lasham by 1 o'clock. Tops 5, 5.5, maybe a little bit more than that. And then by 3, 4 o'clock, these lines coming a bit further apart. So I think cloud base going up, but the amount of cumulus reducing round here, if not beginning to start to disappear from the south, I think, as the sea air comes through. So yeah, probably 4, 4.5 with cloud tops, about 5.5. And then I'd a quick look at the sounding further north in the sort of Oxford area. So 12 o'clock, the lines here are a bit closer together, so more cloud and a slightly greater depth, up to 6,000, 7,000 feet. And then in the afternoon, that starts to come apart. So I think it will thin out a little bit there as the afternoon goes on. Haven't got an actual sounding, but I just looking at 1 or 2 of the predicted soundings do show an inversion at about sort of 5,000 feet, which could give some spread out, more likely to the north of the M4, Oxford area and beyond there. Looks better into Cambridgeshire, but I think we haven't got the weather window to get you round the corner across that way. Top meteo showing 11 o'clock cumulus here, and the areas of perhaps upper cloud, difficult to predict, I think, with top meteo because it's done 5 or 6 hours ago, but showing potential upper cloud. And then if you roll that forward a few hours, showing spread out, but by 1300 hours, 1400 local, when you'll be tasking it, it looks okay in this area here. And that spread out moving further north. It does show what I would anticipate being the sea air coming in here late afternoon and starting to kill things off. But our task area is to the north of the danger area, so hopefully it will still be good in that area here and enable you to come back to Lasham. In terms of thermal heights, it's obviously going as we approach 11 o'clock, probably a bit ahead of what top meteo are predicting. So by 11, 12 o'clock, 3,500, and then run it forward a few hours, and we're looking at 14, 15, 1,600 meters, so 4,500 feet. They're showing congested queue north of the M4 in the Oxfordshire area. I think that's probably going to be about right, looking at the predicted ascents. And then in the afternoon, over the area we're tasking in, reasonable 14, 1,500 meters again. So should be the best task area, hopefully. Showing it going blue here, but they're showing there's still thermals in there. I suspect that's the sea air going to come in and kill that. And their flight distance for 18-meter class gliders is here. Lasham's down here, so really up in this area here. I know a number of club pilots have gone down into the West Country first and probably going this way later in the day, hoping it gets better around the Oxfordshire area and beyond there. Just a quick gross error check with SkySight seems to sort of suggest the same sort of area up round here, but they're not showing any indication of sea air on any of their models. And I think that's going to be a local issue that we're aware of. So Met should be a good day, should go on till 5, 6 o'clock. I've got this funny feeling the upper cloud might kill it a bit early. It might not go on till 7:30 as it did last night. So we're just aware of that, and we've set the tasks appropriately. Okay, back to the main briefing. And then we'll go on to airspace.
Task.
Oh, task, missed task. Okay. Okay, today's tasks. So regionals, red class. It's day 5, and we're going initially with task A, 200.1k, Basingstoke West. At the start, Burbage, Bradford on Avon, Ogbourne. Had to think where that one was. My brain kicked into gear. I remember where that one was. And Newbury Racecourse with a control point at Andover Southwest. Bit of a convoluted task, but we've got to keep you in an area we think is going to be the best today. And it's back to Lasham ARP. The B task, if we fall back, 154.9, Basingstoke West again, Devizes, Cairn West, Hungerford, back via Andover Southwest and into Lasham and the control point. For the regionals blue class, who are second on the grid today, task A, 181, Basingstoke South, Melksham, Hungerford North, Andover Southwest, and back to Lasham, 181.1k. And the B task, 123.3, Basingstoke South, Pewsey, Hungerford, Andover Southwest, and Lasham ARP. We're fairly confident. We don't, there's no C and D tasks in our brains at the moment, because we think it's a good chance we'll get you going at 1:30 after the Royal Flight Airspace, and you'll have a good afternoon to race around one of those. Airspace. Over to Colin.
Thank you, Colin. Good morning, everyone, and we'll rattle through this, although we have got a bit of time in hand, haven't we? Let's get straight into it. For today, 2nd of June, version 4 still is the current airspace file on Soaring Spot and wherever. Parachuting sites, the normal information there. Weston, Hinton, Sibson, Langer, Chatteris, and are all permanently active. Other parachuting sites will be considered active unless we can confirm inactivity, and we've got a few of those today. Middle Wallet, you're probably not going to go in that way, but just in case, it is not a penalty zone today. That's the DZ. Keyboard DZ is not a penalty zone today. They are gliding there, and they ask if you need to land, please use the runway, because if you land on the grass, it will spoil your day. Normal restrictions around the Aldermaston and Airfield, modified by the dispensation we hold, and I'm sure you're all familiar with that. I will just remind you of it. And again, all UK danger areas are penalty zones during their notified activity periods. The exceptions of those are applicable to helicopters. Note 2. ATZs are excluded airspace and therefore penalty zones, unless you are committed to landing there. Advisory navigation warnings. You're going quite close to Everleigh danger area Delta 128, Laycock, Romeo 106, Keevil are gliding, and then I also put the note in there that if landing, please use the runway. The following DZs are not active and not penalty zones. Okay, Middle Wallop and Keevil. 80Zs near track, Middle Wallop. I won't read the frequencies, they're all on your task sheet, but just to remind you of them. And other airfields who'd love to hear from you if you're getting in their area is Popham and Memory. Thruxton shouldn't be on there because it's an 80Z. Last launch will be 1800. Just a reminder about our neighbours. And the frequencies again, you've all been very good actually in prefixing the calls with Lasham, and our guys are not having issues with hearing your call sign, which is great. That really does help them. Transponders, just a reminder on that. Compton box is closed. We're not going anywhere near it. And so, back to you, Colin.
Thank you, Colin. Okay, folks, so airfield layout and finishing. Not a lot's changed. Usual, stick to the boundary of the airfield when you're driving around. And just be aware of the level of activity, but if you're going around that side, as we're operating on 09, there won't be much going on. Club operations from the north side. There's a grid out there. We'll be gridding on the runway at 12:15. The reason behind this is at 12:10 we will stop club launching, so there will be no conflict with the possible launches on the north side and you towing out and onto the grid. We want to reduce that completely. So grid 09, after 12:15 the club launching will have stopped. There may still be gliders landing, and club gliders will need to be back on the ground at 12:30 because of the airspace that kicks in at 12:50. Fairly straightforward. Gridding on the runway. Club operations will carry on at some point after our launch from the north side. And when you're coming back, it's 09 in. Club operations will be on 09. You've got all runways available. North side grass, main runway, and south side grass. So just straight in either side, just give us a call, let us know what you're doing. One thought, relights, if there are any, just remember it's next to the runway, north or south side, depending where there's room, and we'll get you going as quick as possible. Land long, everybody's been doing that. We will be out with the gators, dragging people down the end if you run out of energy or you have to stop because there's other people there. It all worked really, really well yesterday. Landing on the north side, you can just angle off a little bit towards the edge. Makes life a little bit easier. I think that's it. Finishing, give us a call, 10K out on 131030, and everybody was yesterday, day before. Worked really, really well. Gives us a chance to put you on the list, watch you go past, submit your trace after before an hour. Questions, we'll keep the chat function open for 5 minutes after the end of this briefing. First launch not before 13:31. The airspace finishes, the restricted airspace that puts us on the ground finishes, it says 13:30. That runs up to 13:31. The wheels will roll about 20 seconds before that, according to my watch. We will get you launched at that time, unless there's some delay on that for some weather related reason. Last launch 1800. The next briefing will be tomorrow at 10 o'clock.